Is there a relationship that you need to stop altogether? Or is there an aspect of your behavior in a relationship that you want to stop? Maybe you want to stop accepting behavior from somebody else in a relationship. Maybe you need to instill some truthfulness or some boundaries. Hi there, and a warm welcome to the Habit Nerd podcast. I'm Dr. Bree Hearn, host and general nerd about all things habits. Over my 20 plus years working as a writer, educator, researcher, keynote speaker, and coach, I've realized that habits influence everything from our health to our productivity and even our relationships. It was Aristotle, in fact, who said we become what we repeatedly do. On this podcast, you'll learn from inspiring experts as they share the habits and systems that help them live happily, healthily, and to achieve enormous success in their chosen fields. Thanks for being here. I do hope that you enjoy the episode. Hi there, and a warm welcome to today's episode of the Habit Nerd podcast. It is halfway through 2025. I cannot believe that. It is the very start of July, the 1st of July actually, when I'm recording this episode. So we are into quarter 3. We've had 2 quarters of the year and we've got 2 quarters to go. It would be really impossible, I'd imagine, for you to have avoided all of the end of financial year, messages in the media, whether that's around getting your tax done or whether that's about making end of financial year purchases. I actually really like to take this time halfway through the year to do a bit of a refocus, a bit of a regroup, a reflect, and what a great opportunity to reset. As I said in the episode introduction, as Aristotle says, we become what we repeatedly do. And I think it's always a really great gift to be given the opportunity to think about what it is that I'm repeatedly doing and think about, is that making me feel like my most aligned, most Bree version of myself? So in this episode, it's going to be very short. I'm going to take you through a few questions and a few, I suppose you could call them prompts. You might like to, as I'm asking these questions or these prompts, actually pause the episode, do some really deep thinking of your own, and you can even journal if you feel called to do that. This is an invitation to return to yourself. It's an invitation to reset your energy and move forward to the end of 2025 with more clarity and more intention. I'm going to use a very simple framework around 3 words: start, stop, and continue. So what will you start, what will you stop, and what will you continue? And I'm going to be doing this through the lens of the 3 core pillars that I talk about in my work. They are self, relationships, and work. So let's start with self, because this is foundational. When I talk about self in this context, I'm talking about your health and your wellness. As a previous guest, the brilliant Chelsea Pottinger said, if you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to make time for your illness. So I want you to do this for me. Picture yourself on a normal Thursday. Say it's midday, say it's 12 p.m. and you're feeling really well. You're feeling really well in your body. What have you done for the 2 or 3 days prior to that Thursday to be feeling well in your body? Have you had enough water? Have you kept yourself hydrated? Have you balanced the amount of fresh, clean drinking water with caffeine and with alcohol? And have you kept your drink bottle nearby whilst you're driving, whilst you're working, whilst you're, going about your day? And is your brain and your body well hydrated? That could be it. Maybe the 3 days prior to this Thursday, you slept pretty well. You had some good sleep hygiene practices in place. You got enough sleep. You avoided too much light in your eyes and too much social media or TV or computer or laptop light in bed. Maybe you avoided things that would keep you awake, so stimulants like chocolate or caffeine before you went to bed. Maybe you engaged in some really beautiful pre-bed practices like a warm shower, maybe some dim lights, maybe some music, maybe you read a book. So maybe the 3 days before this Thursday, 12 p.m., you've really committed to some great sleep. Maybe you've done some exercise that you like in the days prior to this Thursday, and your body really is thanking you for that. You've chosen exercise or movement that your body really needs and it wants. So it might have been some form of resistance training that you like to do. Maybe you've taken a couple of walks. Perhaps you're feeling the glow from last night's yoga or Pilates class. Maybe in terms of nutrition, you've been organized over the last 3 days with food preparation. And that has resulted in eating more balanced and more nourishing meals. I wonder if from the 3 days before this Thursday at 12 p.m. you have managed your stress with intentionality. Maybe you did some journaling. Maybe you did some deep box breathing. Maybe you engaged in a simple meditation or some mindfulness practice. Maybe you talked to a friend when you were feeling stressed. Maybe you deliberately stayed off doom scrolling on social media in the evening. So think about what got you to this feeling of health and vitality and wellness on this mundane Thursday. Whatever that was should give you a cue into what you want to continue. So finish this sentence for me. To experience health, vitality, and wellness until the end of December, I will continue to. My next question is around what you might stop that isn't serving you in terms of yourself. For me, what I would like to stop is a habit of eating chocolate in the evenings. Now, I'm not going to stop it altogether because sometimes, and often this is linked with, my hormonal cycle, I really do crave a couple of pieces of good quality chocolate and I enjoy it and it makes me very happy. So I'm not going to stop it altogether. What I am going to stop is eating chocolate when I don't feel like I desperately need the chocolate. When it is a habit, when it is something that I do because I'm having a cup of tea, I am going to stop myself from having the chocolate unless I feel like it is going to serve me to have that chocolate in that moment. So that's something for me that I'm going to stop. And if you feel called to, I'd ask you to answer this question. Is there something in the realm of health, vitality, and wellness that you might start doing? So if you think of the facets that I spoke to earlier, hydration, movement, nutrition and nourishment, stress management, sleep and rest, is there something that you might start? For me, I get a great deal out of journaling, but not when I feel like I have to do it. So therefore, I think what I would like to start is picking up my journal and my pen, which is on the shelf underneath my bedside table, so it's really accessible. When I feel like doing this, when I feel called to do it, not forced to do it, and doing some just really gentle stream of consciousness writing, or making a short gratitude list, or even engaging in a practice which is known as scripting. This is where you write about something you want as if it's already happened, and you get really specific in the script about how that feels. So in terms of what I will start doing to support myself, my health, my wellness, my vitality, I will start non-forced journaling. Now let's move on to relationships. Pretend for me that you have a really big milestone birthday coming up at the end of the year. Maybe you're turning 40, you're turning 50, you're turning 60, you're turning 30, whatever it is. And somebody you love has been tasked with doing a speech about you. What would this person say about their relationship with you? How are you when you're with that person? Are you kind? Do you bring the fun? Do they feel safe with you? Can they trust you? Do you make them laugh? Do you make them feel special? Think about the person who will be giving that speech and think about what it is that they have just said about you because of the way you are in relationship with them. This should help you answer this question. In my relationships with, and you can choose, my partner, my friend, my son, my daughter, my whole family, in my relationship with, I want to continue. Here in Melbourne, it's about to be the school holidays, and I want to continue a tradition that we've started, and I want to continue it because I want to keep enjoying this tradition and all it gives us before my girls get too old. I want to have a full day of what we would call wholesome family fun. This time last year, so the last winter school holidays, I remember we went to play indoor mini golf in the city, and then we went to a Melbourne laneway restaurant for lunch. We had pizza, and it was delicious, and we were laughing, and we were reflecting on all of the silliness that had just gone before in the mini golf game. When we got home that afternoon, we had a light dinner. We all got into our pajamas and we watched a movie together. It was one full day. It was cup filling for all of us, and I want to continue that tradition. So that's something in my relationship with my family I want to continue. I invite you to think about in your relationship, as I said, with your spouse, your child, your friend, or even multiple friends, what would you like to start doing? In terms of me, with full honesty and vulnerability, I probably have neglected my relationship with my husband a little bit. So something I would like to start doing in the second half of this year is to plan time together, maybe date nights, once a month or once every 6 weeks. That is something I would like to start doing. Now, habit nerds, is there a relationship that isn't serving you at this point in time? Is there a relationship that you need to stop altogether? Or is there an aspect of your behavior in a relationship that you want to stop? Maybe you want to stop accepting behavior from somebody else in a relationship. Maybe you need to instill some truthfulness or some boundaries. So I would like you to think about what you would like to continue in your relationships, what you would like to start, and if there is anything that you would like to stop. And our final pillar is work. Think about, if you can, the last 6 months of your work. Picture yourself on a Friday afternoon. You're feeling really fulfilled and satisfied when you look back on that great day at work or a great week of work. What is giving you that feeling? Was it a project that you're really proud of finishing? Maybe you mentored a less experienced colleague. Maybe you stayed focused on something that you said you would and you finally got it done. I want you to think about what you have done that you're proud of. It could be an actual piece of work, or it could be a behavior that you engage in as part of your work. What will you continue to do because it is serving you? Myself, I have been working on catching myself when I feel I'm in a state of overwhelm and taking some steps to course correct. Whenever I feel, and this has been a conscious decision, and so it's something that is serving me at the moment and I want to continue it, whenever I feel like there are too many projects up in the air on the boil, and I start to feel a sense of time scarcity, so there's not enough time to get the projects done, I have been catching myself before I let myself spiral down that rabbit hole. And I have been doing a few things. I have been making myself aware of it and just accepting and naming this feeling of stress, overwhelm, panic. I'm not judging myself for that feeling. I am showing myself some kindness and just accepting what is. Then I'm remembering that it's because I want to do a good job. It's because I am lit up and fulfilled, and the work that I do is a strong part of my identity. So I'm giving myself a pat on the back for my intentions being that I have high expectations of all the work that I have to do, and that's why I'm feeling this sense of pressure. After that, I'm taking some steps around. Maybe it's going out for a really quick walk around the block. Maybe it is pulling out my journal and just doing some really brain dumping, free writing, stream of consciousness, getting it all out on paper. Maybe it is going to Insight Timer on my phone with my earphones in and doing a quick 5 to 8 to 10 minute meditation. The step after that, when I've made my nervous system feel safe, is I open up my calendar and I look for any spots over the coming 2 weeks where I can put work time into my calendar. And it doesn't have to be just Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. It can be on the weekend. It can be some evenings where I can put in some time where I can attack the very small, manageable chunks of the projects that I'm concerned about. Because I feel safer knowing that I have got some time in my calendar where it was otherwise blank space to do those. So then I'm not just worried about how I'm going to do them. I have a plan. So that's what I have been doing to tackle overwhelm. And I will continue that practice for the remainder of this year. I wonder what you would like to continue. What about a week at work when you have felt deflated, when you felt frustrated, when you felt like you're on the verge of burnout? What was the cause? Once you have remembered what the cause might have been, and interestingly, sometimes the cause is actually a health or a wellness cause. It's because you haven't got enough sleep. It's because you're feeling stressed in another facet of your life. But if it is a work cause, what was it? What do you need to stop doing so that you can avoid those feelings of frustration, deflation, burnout? Maybe you didn't map your calendar with enough mindfulness. Maybe you allowed yourself to work in environments where distraction was likely. Maybe you had too many tabs open on your computer and you were juggling too many balls in the air at once and therefore not doing anything well. Maybe you were giving into temptation of scrolling on your phone, snacking when you should have been catching yourself, showing yourself some kindness for that, and then getting back to work. What is it that you need to stop doing so that you can have a more productive and a more fulfilling quarter 3 or 4? And is there a facet to your work that you want to start? I have a really strange sounding one. I need to start working longer hours. I know that sounds a little bit unusual because people want to work less hours. For me, who is at this point in time, who is a very engaged employee, someone with my own business, and somebody who deeply values being there for my children, often it is I will log off work at 2:45 so that I can go and pick up my girls from school. And then I don't log back on, even though I possibly could. And those days, when they snowball and they accumulate, I can fall very behind. So because I value doing school drop off and pick up so much, my work suffers because I don't have the hours to put in to get the amount of volume done. And that is a problem that I need to fix. So I need to start calling on resources like my family and friends to help me with my pickups and drop-offs of my children so that I can work more traditional hours, work until 5 or 5:30, because then when I come home, I know I will feel more fulfilled because the work day will have been more productive. I will have had more hours to get things done. And then I know I'll be able to log off and be with my family 100% instead of needing to jump on and answer that urgent email or close a loop because I finished work too early for that day. So that's a strange and unusual one for me, that I need to actually start working longer hours. But is there something that you need to start? So I'll take you back very quickly through what those reset prompts were for our first half of the year and our realignment prompts for the second half. First one is you, your health and your wellness. I will continue, I will stop, I will start. What about your relationships? In my relationships, I will continue to. In a relationship, I will stop. For my relationships, I will start. And finally, your work. When it comes to my work, I will continue. In terms of work, I am going to try and stop. And to get the most efficiency, productivity, joy, satisfaction out of my work in the second half of 2025, I will start. Now, Habit Nerds, I hope you gained something from this quick episode. I hope you did take the opportunity to go inward and think about these prompts for yourself. Maybe you paused me and did some journaling or some, making notes somewhere. Maybe you didn't. Either way, it's fine. Whatever suited you. But I just thank you for your company, and I know that you're going to have a really wonderful second half of the year, and I will catch you on our next episode. Thank you for tuning into this episode of The Habit Nerd. I hope you found some new inspiration, learned something new, or gained a fresh perspective. If you did enjoy the episode, I would be really grateful if you could please leave a 5-star review, as it helps the show get in the ears of new listeners, plus it should only take you 5 seconds. If you're keen for more tips and insights, then head over to Instagram and follow Habit Nerd.